Hello and welcome back to ACCRAC. I'm Jed Wolpaw and I am thrilled to have a fabulous show today. I have with me the one and only AnesthesiaGawd. Now, I probably do not even need to introduce this person, but I will say anyway that this is one of the most influential anesthesia-focused Instagram pages on the entire platform. AnesthesiaGawd has over 16 million views every month, 16 million, and roughly 270,000 followers. That puts the account in the top 1% to 2% of Instagram creators by reach efficiency and among the top 0.5% of medical creators by views. And just to put that in perspective, most successful professional or anesthesia-focused accounts have somewhere in like the 5,000 to 40,000 follower range, while AnesthesiaGawd, as I said, has 270,000 and consistently delivers nearly 60 times that number in monthly reach, which means people are sharing these things so widely because they love it, and it really says a lot, I think, about the quality of the account and how far-reaching it is. AnesthesiaGawd is a CRNA, an assistant professor, but we cannot disclose his name or university affiliation. He practices full-time clinically and has been in practice for more than 10 years, including academic teaching. He specializes in neuro and pediatric anesthesia, and of course, runs the AnesthesiaGawd Instagram account. AnesthesiaGawd, welcome to the show.
Hey, man, what's happening? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely thrilled to have you here. Thank you for the incredible work you do. And I want to let's talk about you a little bit first. So tell me a little bit about you. We know you're a CRNA, and as I mentioned, you've been practicing for about 10 years. Have you been doing pediatric and neuro anesthesia that whole time, or has your practice evolved over time?
Yeah, I mean, I started out doing pediatric anesthesia. I really loved pediatric anesthesia. I thought it was, it's a little more challenging. It was different. And it was, always those like moments of terror where you're like freaking out. And then, these kids bounce back so quickly that it's like, okay, wow, he's fine. He was just blue and now he's in PACU drinking apple juice. Like, we're good. So I love that aspect of it. I do a lot of adults as well, but I think like primarily now I'm doing more adults. I do some neuro. I do teach pediatrics and teach neuro though. That's why it was sort of my focus. So I kind of like do a little bit of everything.
That's awesome. Yeah, I loved pediatric anesthesia as a resident, but I think for me, I had kids at the same time. And so I would be taking care of these babies while I had my own babies at home, and it was tough. So in the end, I decided to go other ways, but I have a ton of respect for people who do that every day.
Yeah, that's the one thing is, kind of keeping it together in the operating room, because I feel like the entire staff is watching you when things are going bad with the kid. And depending on your reaction is how people are going to react, right? So if I'm flipping out, they're going to flip out. But plenty of times I've dropped them off in PACU and went to the locker room and got into the fetal position and cried for sure.
I bet. Yeah. Well, again, thanks for the work you're doing. So you have also, of course, this outside or other job, and I'm sure it is a job. You do an incredible amount of work with AnesthesiaGawd. I mean, you're posting multiple things every day. When did you first start this account?
I started at like the end of 2021.
Okay.
And yeah, that's the start of it.
That was the start. So about 5 years ago. And what was the inspiration? Was this just, what was the origin story? Tell us how you got going.
I had a student with me in the operating room, and I was, of course, teaching, but I was also making fun of everyone in the operating room, which is what I normally do, behind the drapes. And they were like, you should have a meme page. And I was like, I didn't really even know what I knew what a meme was, but I didn't know like there was these huge pages that just did memes. And I started following this account, Gassy CRNA, he's really the OG of like anesthesia memes. And he was like the only one doing it. And I was like, okay, so maybe I could just make fun of people on the internet instead of doing it in the operating room. And I started it up, and there is a group called CRNA Moms. They are a Facebook group. There are tens of thousands of them in there. It is a very select group. You have to prove you're a CRNA. You have to prove you have a child. Literally have to send them blood samples to get into this group. It's difficult to get in. They don't let just anyone in. And I started posting some content, and someone took the content from there and put it on that Facebook page. And I literally woke up the next morning, it's like 5,000 followers. I mean, these women are like New York, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. From there, the next day was like another 5,000. It pretty much was just growing exponentially from them. So I do owe a lot to them. I do owe a lot, Gassy CRNA started posting some of my stuff. So that was how I kind of started the growth. But they were my big kickoff. Shout out to them. I love them very much.
Awesome. So do you have a background in comedy? I mean, like anybody can I guess, set up a meme page, but they aren't necessarily going to be funny and popular and can consistently so over time. I mean, was this just something you learned on the go, or did you have prior experience with this kind of making people laugh, comedy of any kind, improv, anything that might have helped you be successful with this?
I mean, my mom's friends think I'm funny on Facebook. I mean, like I was a class clown in high school. I was the class clown in middle school, in grade school, in middle school, like whatever. I'm not a comedian for sure. I don't think I'm a comedian for sure. I think I like to make people laugh, of course. And I think, I think there are meme pages that I see and I can just watch, I can look at the memes and just be like, that's not really a funny person. They're trying very hard. And for me, this comes very easily. The content comes easily because a lot of it is sent to me from people and then I just kind of alter it a little bit. But also, I just can see a picture and be like, all right, I can relate that to the R in some way. So I guess it's just more creative flow than it is, comedian status.
Yeah. Now, that's interesting that so when you first started, I'm assuming this was all your own self-generated content. And then as you got more well-known and popular, then people started sending you stuff. Is that kind of how it happened? And now it's mostly stuff you alter from others, or is it a balance kind of between the two?
Well, I get a lot of my DMs are everything. So the reason why I think this page has grown is because it's an organic following of people. They're almost cult-like, these people, which I love. It's really, really cool to have that sort of that feeling of community. There is a very strong feeling of community. I mean, we've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars with this page, for, someone is sick, someone passed away, someone needs this, someone needs that. I don't post a lot of that. So when I do, people react to it, and I don't post a lot of it on purpose because I do want it to be like, okay, well, he's never recommended this. Now he's recommended this. I want to see. So I don't do a lot of advertising. I don't do anything. So, it is a very organic group of people. And it was grown organically. So they are very committed to the page and they are committed to sending stuff, for example, I know everyone's into the whole nail thing is got everyone thinking I'm a female, which is fine. Part of being anonymous is just, I didn't want people to come to the page just because they wanted to see me. I wanted them to come to the page for the content and not really care about who I am. Ironically, when you're anonymous, they care more about who you are. So it's almost like, their mission becomes, who is this person, especially a bunch of type A anesthesia people that are like, we need to know who this person is. So that's become sort of fun. I never set out to hide my gender. But with the nails, I think people assumed I was female, and the nails came from a follower. They sent me something and it was their nails, against like a sevoflurane bottle. I was like, that looks cool. They match. Posted it once. And then, that night I get 30 DMs of the nails and people liked it. So I kept doing it. So that's how a lot of the things evolve on the page. The page sort of evolves itself, kind of. Yeah,
very cool. Now, I have to ask about the nails. When you say sometimes 4 out of 4, is that a rating? Is that like 100% rating? Or does that mean something else that I don't understand about nails?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of forced to learn a little bit about nails. Like I know what a fill-in is. If they've grown out too much and there's a space between the cuticle and the nail, it's like, okay, they need a fill-in. And I've learned that because like I'll post nail and then, they'll come in the DMs and be like, those are horrible. She needs a fill-in. She hasn't gotten them done. Or, so I try not to rate them too much. I just like when the colors match, but these, the females on the page seem to love it. And looking at my demographic, it's about 72% females on the page. So they really enjoy the nail content. And then anything else that came along, then the men got upset about the nails. They started sending me their fancy watches. So then I started posting the watches, so things just sort of catch on. And then there's a lot of things that don't catch on. People were sending me cool sneakers for a while, and then that kind of faded out. And I just kind of go with the flow and see what's happening with the page and what people really want to see. And that's kind of what I do.
Yeah. And so so let's say you post a sneakers, and is it that you're looking to see kind of the hits and the shares? And then if that peters out, you say, okay, enough with the sneakers. Is that the feedback you get to kind of decide how to pursue different areas?
Yeah, I go to the DMs for everything. And this is what a lot of content creators don't do. They start to be like, this is so huge, this page, I'm getting so many DMs, I'm going to ignore them and maybe do the ones that have a verified star, whatever it is, a verified check. I try to go through every single DM, which is I probably get about 250 a day.
Wow.
And if it's something silly, I just glance over it or I'll throw a little heart on something or whatever. But for the most part, I am trying to see. And if I see someone will send me, some news thing in anesthesia and I'll get 3 or 4 of those. I'm like, all right, they want to hear about this. I'm getting like 3 or 4 of these. So I really pay attention to the DMs. I interact in the DMs, which a lot of content creators don't do. I think they just focus on pumping out content and not really gauging what's going on with the audience. And I think that was a big part of my growth as well, is to, and now it's at a point where it's like, they can't believe I'm responding to them. It's like, well, I'm not like untouchable here. This is like an Instagram page and I'm a normal person. But it's allowed me to also help a lot of people, because if you go through the DMs, there's a percentage of people that are in trouble, or they're not doing well in the residency, or they need to be talked off the ledge. And I'll take the time to do that. Sometimes I'll say, like, listen, you can call through the app. Let's have a conversation. I mean, I've done that so many times, and that's kind of behind the scenes of the page that people don't really see is the work that goes behind the scenes with, talking to people or interacting with people in the DMs. But the DMs are everything. And I think a lot of content creators don't understand that.
Yeah, that's really amazing. And I've picked up a little bit on that from some of the things you posted. So I imagine when you first started, this was really just making people laugh. It was memes. It was funny. But at some point, you started to have this, I mean, that's still there for sure, but you also started to have what you just mentioned, which is this ability to reach and help people who maybe are struggling in their training, or who are feeling down, or who just need someone to talk to, but you've somehow ended up as that person who they reach out to. When did that happen along the way? Was that pretty early on, or is that more recent?
Yeah, it was pretty early on. And because I think being funny, people assume you're approachable, which is really cool about, I guess, making jokes and being funny on the internet. It's strange. People will, what always surprises me when people write to me and they say they want me to do their anesthesia. Am I available? Do I work near any hospital? Like, lay people don't know, and they just think like, I could just walk in any hospital and be like, I'm giving anesthesia room 6, guys. I'll see you in a little bit. Like, they're like, what would it take for you to do my anesthesia? And I'm like, how does it go from like making jokes on the internet to this guy's got to do my anesthesia? There's some trust there, or something that makes them feel comfortable. Or I've had like a major female celebrity come to me because she was having a myomectomy and she had questions about the anesthesia. I can't even disclose who this is because she's very, very famous, a famous actress. But, there's some degree of trust that comes along with, I guess, the humor of it all. I'm not really sure how that works, but people definitely are not shy about reaching out and saying, hey, I'm in trouble. I have imposter syndrome. I'm in the operating room. This is going on with me. And I'm very good at talking people off the ledge because I'm very passionate about anesthesia. And if you've gotten this far, I'm not letting you jump off that ledge. We're going to get you through this. If you got into the residency or you got into CRNA school, like, we're getting you through. And, some people just want to say hi to me before they go take their boards. So I'll call them the morning of their boards and say good luck. I do all kinds of stuff like that, which I love a lot.
That's amazing. Yeah. What that says to me, the part about people reaching out and saying, will you do my anesthesia, is what we, I think, have lost in some ways in medicine, right? Which is that people would take someone they know and feel a connection with over, without knowing anything about their medical skills, right? Just because of that connection. And we don't have that very much anymore. I mean, I had a patient the other day who was a physician here. And so when I found out I was going to do the anesthesia for him, I reached out. I called him the night before and I just said, just wanted to say hi and tell you I'm, answer any questions. And I think it really made a difference to him. And I kind of said to myself, I really should do this for everybody, but, I don't. Maybe I will start. But, that kind of thing, just having some connection is amazing. And I think that's what this shows, is that people who feel a connection with you, that overrides almost anything else, because they don't often feel a connection with sometimes any of their doctors, but certainly their anesthesia providers.
Yeah, I try to, and I make that a point in my, sort of in my daily giving anesthesia routine, is to try to have a few minutes with that patient and not just talk about their history, not just like say, open your mouth as wide as you can, stick out your tongue. Like, it's more about like, something I try to make everyone laugh at least once before we hit the OR, make them feel somewhat comfortable with this person. Cause it's a bizarre experience if you think about it. You walk in and then it's like, this guy is going to pump me full of drugs, put me to sleep right now, and basically have my life in his hands. And I met him 5 minutes ago and he's just asking about my diabetes and if I took my Ozempic. And, you know, that I think that's a very challenging thing in anesthesia. We have to sort of win them over and sort of gain their trust, even more so with peds, you know, like, okay, I'm going to talk to you, mom, and then you're going to hand me this baby right now, which is, it's crazy if you think about it.
Yeah, it is really crazy. And having had to do it when one of my daughters had a procedure, you know, it is, even for someone who knows all of the people and knows all the things about it, it is incredibly stressful and nerve-wracking to hand your kid over to somebody else, even someone you know. So absolutely agree with you there. Do you ever feel, I would feel that if I were in your shoes, I would feel, at least sometimes I feel like I feel a lot of pressure that I have to get stuff out, you know, on the account. I gotta post stuff. And also maybe pressure that, you know, I've now developed this reputation amongst at least my followers of someone who will do things like call you the morning of your boards, or, you know, respond if you say I'm in trouble or I'm struggling or I'm upset or I'm not doing well in training or I have imposter syndrome. I mean, do you ever feel like it's what if you can't get to it all? You know, does that feel like too much pressure sometimes, or you can handle it?
You know, it's interesting because if there is a shift with me, if there's something going on in my life and there, you know, if I'm going through a rough time or something, people pick up on it almost immediately. The followers, they do get to know you and they know your patterns, and so a lot goes into the memes. A lot of people think it's very simple and like, oh, he just took a picture and wrote something on it. There's always something in there that has to do with me, whether it's the song I choose. Sometimes the song just suits the meme, but sometimes it's if I'm feeling a certain way, I'll post a certain type of music for that. Or it's kind of like a timeline for me. I can go back and look through the memes and say, oh, I remember that I was going through this at that time. They're more than what they seem. And aesthetically, I'm very crazy. If it's like, you know, if it's cropped in some way that I don't like, I'll just throw it away. Like people don't realize like all that stuff that sort of goes into like what looks like a really simple meme. But they will notice when I'm off a little bit and say like, hey, you doing okay? You only posted once today instead of 3 times, because I'll just kind of shut down a little bit. I have enough content. You know, I can open up my iPhone. It's crazy right now how much content is in there just waiting to be posted. Cause sometimes I kind of like, should I do that? Should I not do it? So I kind of have to think about it, but before I post it. But I usually have something ready to go and I'll just post it. Usually the stories die down a little bit if I'm really busy, or if you know, it's strange because when there's something going on in your life and you know the people around you, they will judge you for posting. Like, you know, let's just make an example. Like, say, you know, I had a girlfriend or something and be like, oh, you're really mad? You posted like 7 stories. How mad are you? You know, like, so that part is hard, that everyone's watching, you know. If I don't, you know, grade my students' exams, it's like, okay, yeah, but you also posted like 30 stories and we don't have an exam grade. So yeah. That's annoying kind of.
Yeah, I could see that. Can you estimate like how much time on average do you spend a day kind of putting this together and putting things out, I mean, including responding to DMs? Probably
close to 3 hours, I would say.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll do a little bit in the morning, and then I'll do a little bit like on breaks at work, and it's a throughout the whole day. It's kind of scattered, but yeah, probably 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, and you must enjoy it, right? I mean, you can't spend that much time on something if you're feeling it's just a grind. I mean, I'm sure at times it is when you maybe you're stressed, you're tired, but in general, you must get a lot out of it.
I do. I love it. I do love it. Yeah, it's such a cool creative outlet. It's a very weird feeling to have like 270,000 people at your fingertips. It's a very strange feeling. And sometimes I'll just kind of go off the rails and be like, I'm going to post like a picture of my kitchen table. Like I just do things like, cause I just want to be unhinged, but it's just because it's a very powerful feeling to know that you have like all this at your disposal. But it's also cool to know you can do something really positive with it, you know, and you could do something cool with it. So it's kind of always there. I don't know where it's headed. I don't know what to do. I'm a horrible businessman. So I'm sure I could have monetized this and made a ton of money on it, but I haven't done anything like that. I have a very DIY ethic, which just do everything yourself. You know, I print my own stickers when they're in stock. They're never in stock, but I don't keep up on things. And people are like, start outsourcing this stuff. And I'm like, I feel like if I outsource it, it's going to lose something. And I'm always afraid that something will happen with this page as far as like, I never want it to change as long as it's working,
Yeah, absolutely. And it is certainly working. Is the different kind of things that have come out of it, the stickers, the scrub hats, was that something you envisioned from the beginning, or did someone suggest it to you? Where did that stuff come from?
Yeah. Listen, I never thought this was – so when I set out to make this page, I wanted it to be a human person. I didn't want to call it like anesthesia memes, man. Like I wanted it to be like, this is AnesthesiaGawd. This is a person, So I wanted it to be an actual person. I was laying in bed one night, like 2 a.m. I started messing around with that dumb emoji. Really, it's really silly. This logo that I created, just sitting there, sort of like trying to make this thing look like me a little bit, I guess. Putting glasses on it. This is the little icon that's on the main page.
Okay.
If I do anything to change that logo, people immediately start going like, go back to the old logo. Why did I literally put it into ChatGPT and I was like, change the lighting, make this look a little more professional. And I posted the next day. Everyone's like, what is this? Take this out of here. Where's the old emoji? And that emoji became the brand pretty much. And for the hell of it, I was like, let me print out like 300 stickers. I'll throw it up on a website, see what happens. And they were sold out in like 17 minutes. And I was like, what is going on with this? Like, this is crazy. So at that moment, probably anyone would have said, I need help. I need to outsource this stuff. And then, so I printed 300 more. And then I'm literally sitting in my house, licking envelopes, sending these things out. And I'm like, this is wild. But there was something cool about handwriting each person's address and sending it to them and be like, oh my gosh, you actually wrote my address. Like, there's something cool about it all, I've turned down tons of scrub deals. I've turned down palm mask deals. Like, everyone has come to me, and because I'm anonymous, I can't do anything with it really, except do like some little bit of advertising. But as far as monetization goes, I haven't done much of it. And one of the interesting things about the page that people don't know is it's literally always one post away from being shut down by Instagram.
Really?
I wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about the haters, because people don't believe me when I say I have people that hate me, and I don't know why. We're sitting here talking about like talking people off the ledge. There is a group of people that like are out for me. So if I post a vial of medication on this page, it could be glyco, it could be anything. It could be neosnephrine. If I just post that vial to my story, it will almost immediately be taken down and flagged for drug trafficking.
Really?
Now, I don't think Instagram is watching me that closely, but someone is watching the page where when one of those vials pops up, and I've fought with Instagram, and I've tried to, tell them this is a medical page. These are prescription meds that we use. And I would never post ketamine and never post like fentanyl or something like that. But even just a vial, it's flagged for drug trafficking.
Wow.
And people don't realize I'm so restricted with the content with what I do from Instagram. I had the page literally was almost shut down. They gave me the final warning. It was a few months ago. It was someone sitting on a sofa, and the sofa was in a flood, and the sofa was running down a river. It looked funny. I guess it wasn't, but so I said like leaving the room, shoulder arthroscopy or something like that, whatever, because of all the water. And it was flagged for like making fun of third world countries, and it was really, that was probably my worst violation. So I have to censor so much and be so careful with what I post, because it's literally right now I'm on warning to be shut down. It's always kind of been on warning since I started it. So wow. That eliminates me from monetization. That eliminates me from the Explorer page. And that's why I say this is organic, because Instagram algorithm hates me. If I see a stranger and I say, hey, what's up? I'm AnesthesiaGawd. Follow me on Instagram. They will literally have to type AnesthesiaGawd. You almost have to type it up to the GA for it to actually pop up. Whereas you would think
yeah, I never would have guessed. I mean, and and you think, like, what's the driver? I mean, you're saying there are people who have, for whatever reason, they've just decided they're anti your account, and so they're like reporting every time they see something they think is reportable?
Well, I don't think they're reporting. I mean, ironically, the people who don't interact with me are about the 10 to 20K anesthesia influencer people.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hey, ACCRACers, it's the new year and you want to eat better, but you have zero time and zero energy to make it happen. Factor doesn't ask you to meal prep or follow recipes. It just removes the entire problem. 2 minutes, real food, done. My wife and I used to feel like we were failing at healthy eating for our family, and you may feel that way too. But you aren't failing at healthy eating. You're failing at having 2 or 3 extra hours every night to cook. That's why I use Factor, and you should too. We're talking meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs. Delivered to your door, heat for 2 minutes, and eat. Inside, you'll find exactly what you would have made if you had the time. Lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole foods, and healthy fats. No refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, no refined seed oils. It's always fresh, never frozen. My kids think Factor tastes like restaurant food, and honestly, they're right. With 100 rotating weekly meals and the new Muscle Pro collection to support strength and recovery, it's no wonder people love it. I wouldn't have believed it until I tried it, and now I can't get enough. Get Factor if you want all the flavor and none of the fuss. Head to factormeals.com/ACCRAC50 off and use code ACCRAC50 off to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for a year. This offer is only valid for new Factor customers with the code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with Factor. Hey folks, a well-built wardrobe is about pieces that work together and hold up over time. That's what Quince does best. Premium materials, thoughtful design, and everyday staples that feel easy to wear and easy to rely on, even as the weather shifts. Quince has the everyday essentials I love with quality that lasts. Organic cotton sweaters, polos for every occasion, lighter jackets that keep you warm in the changing seasons. The list goes on. Quince works directly with top factories and cuts out the middlemen so you don't have to pay for brand markup, just quality clothing. Everything is built to hold up to daily wear and still look good season after season. Each piece is made from premium materials by trusted factories that meet rigorous standards for craftsmanship and ethical production. I absolutely love the zip-up fleece I got from Quince, and my wife and 3 daughters, who are all about fashion and not afraid to criticize my clothing, are all fans. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/ACCRAC for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/ACCRAC. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/ACCRAC. Hey, ACCRACers, we are thrilled to have as an all-star returning sponsor the one and only TrueLearn Smart Banks. I've used TrueLearn for my residents for years, and it is hands down the best smart bank out there. The questions are excellent, and the answers have clear explanations that break down why each choice is correct or incorrect. And now you can create flashcards, which are a key tool for high-quality studying and maximizing test performance. The education research is clear that spaced repetition with these kind of tools is the best way to learn and retain information. We use their ITE, basic and advanced smart banks for our residents, each with 1,000+ questions, realistic visuals, and graphs, and even a calculator that mimics what you have on the exam. Our residents love it and get great results. TrueLearn even has a CME smart bank where you can get AMA, PRA, Category 1 credits after you finish training, and an adult cardiac anesthesiology smart bank as well. Go to TrueLearn.com and use code ACCRAC to get $25 off residency exams, USMLE, and Comlex smart bank subscriptions of 90 days or longer, and up to 20% off other healthcare exam subscriptions. We rely on TrueLearn for our test prep, and I recommend you do the same. TrueLearn.com and use code ACCRAC. Hey there, ACCRACers. It takes heart to build bodies that break records. Over the past 6 years, a team of incredible healthcare professionals did what most people thought was impossible. They rebuilt the body of legendary Olympian Lindsey Vonn after a series of devastating injuries forced her into early retirement. Now she's headed to the 2026 Winter Games, ready to break records once again. This February in Milan, Lindsey's team and the entire USA medical team will be wearing FIGS. You can rock their official uniform too. The new Team USA collection from FIGS is engineered with FiberX, their most durable fabric yet. FiberX is setting the new gold standard for high-performance scrubwear. It's lightweight, breathable, and ultra-resilient. And of course, the styles come in red, white, and blue. Check out the limited edition Team USA collection and get 15% off your first order at wearfigs.com with codes FIGSRX. That's wearfigs.com, code FIGSRX. All right, and we're back.
I'll see one of their posts. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm going to like this. And I like it. And then I look at their account. Oh, they have 20,000 followers. They don't follow me. So right there is kind of like, now, I don't think everyone should follow me, but if you're in anesthesia, you've seen you've seen something about or heard something about me with the amount of stuff that gets shared. If a meme gets 4,000 forwards, like someone has shown you something. And if you didn't follow me, you probably don't like me or whatever it might be, or not like my content. But that is the demographic that I have the least amount of, like these people that are so-called anesthesia influencers or any type of influencer in the 10 to 20K follower range. They hate me.
And why do you think that is? Any idea?
Because they ain't me.
They're jealous.
I don't know. But listen, this was no small thing that I did. Like, this was not an easy thing to do. It's like, I don't know why you'd be jealous. I've actually put the work in to do this and worked really hard on it. And I could actually probably help you if you DM me and we talk a little bit and you got some content you want to put out, maybe I'll help you put out some content. Like, I don't understand the whole, like, oh God, this anesthesia God. I've heard, like, I've heard someone talking on a podcast about me saying, like, I talk about how real it is to go to CRNA school. There's a lot of people out there going like, oh, anyone could do CRNA school. Anyone. It's like, no, it's kind of hard. It's difficult. And anesthesia is difficult. I mean, we make jokes and say, like, you're sitting on a chair all day. It's not easy stuff. I mean, there are a few hours of boredom and moments of terror. Yeah. The moments of terror are what you're like trained to do.
Yep.
And I try to be real with people, in that way. And I think a lot of people think, I discourage people from, like, going further maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I guess I could see somebody in anesthesia might not like the idea of portraying anesthesiologists as sitting in chairs all day and not doing anything. But I mean, I think you have to know that's like how we joke about ourselves.
Yeah, that's the biggest, like, contrast of a joke. Like, it's like we talk about that, but we really know what goes on. And the people in the room know what goes on. They know, like, we might be sitting, but we're actually listening and we're watching and we see everything that's happening. But yeah, I think it's one of those things, though, like, you're not doing good until you have, like, a bunch of people hating you also. If you have haters, then you're doing something right, is what I've always been told. So that's just how I see it.
Yeah, I think that's right. You can't possibly make everybody happy. So 270,000 followers. They can't all be CRNAs and SRNAs, right? There aren't that. I think there aren't that many. Probably.
No, there's like 67,000 in the United States. But yeah, so that was one of my challenges. Like, how am I going to get bigger than anyone has ever gotten on for anesthesia memes? The thing is, if you have such a niche account, you'll plateau at some point. And I think I started to plateau at probably the 70K range. And I was like, how do I keep this going? How do I engage surgeons now? How do I get other people involved with this and still make relevant anesthesia content? And that's when sort of the veterinarian stuff came in. I did some dental stuff that came in. And then I think the surgeons started catching on that I was, that it's kind of like, hey, he's making fun of anesthesia, but he's also making fun of us. This is kind of cool. Because I think if you make fun of yourself, you can get away with making fun of other people as well. So a lot of surgery people got got involved. A lot of ICU people I started doing some ICU content. The veterinarian content to me is the most interesting because that group of providers is so underappreciated. They're undercompensated. So they took this is a human anesthesia person who's recognizing what we do. He's got a big platform and the stuff is actually cool. Like, the human stuff is cool to see, but it's really cool for the humans to see what we do. It's like, we've seen 1 million people get intubated. Like, let's see a rabbit get intubated now. And it exploded on my page from mostly the anesthesia people loved it because it was like, wow, I put kids to sleep or people to sleep every day. Like, let's see how they're putting, a sheep to sleep, So they absolutely love the content. And the vets are probably some of my most loyal followers because they feel like I'm spreading some awareness about, listen, dude, these people are smart, man. They have to know every species. Like, you're putting a gecko to sleep and then you're putting, like, a cat to sleep. Like, this is wild stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of knowledge. But they also do a lot of things that are very similar. They do caudal blocks. They do, like, stuff that we do, which is like, wow, this is really cool to see, the two worlds collide.
Yeah, it is very cool. I love that you include that content. Do you tell me about the name? You said you didn't want it to be a kind of generic name like Anesthesia Memes. How did you pick AnesthesiaGawd specifically?
Wu-Tang Clan, man.
Tell me more.
To me, they're the baddest rap group ever. They're a clan, they're a crew. And they were the gods, and they spelt it GAWD. So I was like, all right, well, if they're the rap gods, I'm the anesthesia god,
Nice. You sometimes post, I don't know if it's things from, is there another account called Nail Gods, or is that like just something you put on? Is that just a part of the meme?
I mean, people started to try to I don't play into all the hashtags and stuff. I don't do anything that like Instagram wants me to do. So sometimes people were hashtagging like nail gods and all this stuff. And I toyed around with the idea of like making some, I think people would probably buy a shirt that said nail gods because they just love the content, but nothing ever really came of it. But yeah, it's just kind of a hashtag that's out there.
Nice. Now, you're, I think, only on Instagram. Have you thought about other platforms like TikTok and YouTube, or have you purposely stayed only with Instagram?
I played around with TikTok a little bit, and I kind of made TikTok like a highlight reel. Someone actually took the name AnesthesiaGawd on TikTok, and I tried to message them, and they wouldn't give it to me. So I'm the real AnesthesiaGawd on TikTok, but I only got to about 7,000 followers on TikTok. I couldn't grow on there because I think TikTok is more showing your face, get ready with me. Here's my makeup that I'm going to like tap on the lids, and that's not what I do. So kind of seeing memes pop up on TikTok doesn't really work for people. If I have any content that I actually film live, like if something in the operating room or something, I'll put it there and it does well. But other than that, the algorithm there is very different, and they're looking for like how clear do your eyes look? Are you lined up with the camera, and like all this weird stuff that these influencers do. So it's just not the right format for the memes.
Yeah, that makes sense. So when you think about all the, I thousands, maybe more, who knows, of memes that you've posted over time, do you have a favorite? I mean, that must be like, you get that question, I'm sure, all the time. But, if you think a favorite, a few favorites that you think back on that you really loved?
The interesting thing about the memes is if I love it and I'm sitting there in a lounge making a meme and I'm cracking up laughing to myself, my coworkers think I'm nuts. Like they're always like, oh, he's making something. Those do horrible. Like the ones that I really love, like they do terrible. And I got to tell you, after doing this for years, I still don't know what something is going to do until I put it out there. I never know. And ironically, the memes that do the best are the memes that I create in 3 minutes. I throw something spontaneously in there. I post it up there and it'll take off like crazy. Like this morning I sat there, I probably sat there almost an hour editing a reel. I was putting a typing sound in it. It was a guy texting. He was texting his wife. I'm sorry, I couldn't get back to you. The hour is crazy, but he was sitting with his feet up on the anesthesia machine. I thought it was great. It looked great. It sounded great. I posted up this morning. It absolutely flopped. Like it was terrible. But, the ones that I just do off the cuff usually happen very, very quickly and they do very well. So the less time I put into it, it seems like the better it is. And the more spontaneous it is, the better it is. Once I start thinking and getting my brain into it, it usually doesn't work out for me.
That's so interesting. I think you must just have that kind of natural instinct of what's funny and what's not. And maybe that's why the spontaneous things just come off well. When you say something did well or it flopped, are you judging that based on shares and likes, or what information do you get back?
I don't usually look at the likes, but initially I will. If I don't get, if it doesn't hit 100 likes in 10 minutes, I usually archive it and delete it, because within 3 to 4 minutes, I can tell if this thing's going to take off or not. And usually by the 10-minute mark, I should be somewhere in like the 300 to 400 likes. I'll also look at the number of people that saw it. So if I see, all right, 3,000 people saw this and 3 people liked it, that's not very good. If 3,000 saw it and 30 like it, we're doing okay. So I have all these weird sort of metrics that I use in my brain for like, is this going to be successful or not? You should always leave it there. I don't. I just I want everything to be a hit on the page, which is really bad. It's not the right thing to do for the algorithm, but it's just what I do.
That's awesome.
And
so
I have like a personal account that I use. It's a personal anesthesia. It's personal, just my Instagram account that I go and I follow all the movies and I follow like all the movie clips and funny meme pages. So I go there and I usually like scan through there until I find stuff that I like or get ideas from there. And then I go back to the main anesthesia page and sort of bring things over. And
okay, interesting. So when I was going to ask you about that, because obviously some people send you stuff and you can mess around with it. But if you're going out looking for your own content, you've got to have a pretty wide kind of knowledge of the current culture in order to find that stuff, right? I mean, and that sounds like you're going on your personal account, you're looking for whatever's happening in the zeitgeist right now, and then picking some of that.
Yeah, really successful memes are ones that will happen sort of on the fly too. If there's a, let's say, Super Bowl is always a big night for me. Something will happen in the halftime show. They'll start showing things and then I'll turn that into something. Those usually do really, really well. So if you could do something that's going on in like real time, that usually works out to be really good.
Do you know what some of can you think off the top of your head, some of the most popular posts of all time?
There's one with 33 million likes, and that was like someone starting an IV very, very quickly. People love the IV content, and this someone just like threw the IV in from across the room, and it was like, that really took off. There was a post with I actually got to talk to Steve-O. You know Steve-O from Jackass? It was like an MTV thing, and they were like, these stunt people like doing all these crazy stunts. He actually got someone to put a spinal in him, and then he put a helmet on and then ran as far as he could run before the spinal kicked in. It was diabolical. It was crazy.
Wow.
And that I posted that and people loved it. It was totally crazy content. And then Steve-O, I mean, this guy's got like millions of followers. He was so mad. He's like, why did you put this up there? Take this down immediately. I'm like, listen, it's doing really well. And he's like, I want it down, wherever. So I threw my phone number in there. I didn't think anything of it. I threw my phone numbers in the DMs. I'm like, call me, bro. And he literally called me and he was like, I'm like, why are you so mad, dude? I'll tag you. What do you want me to do? And he's like, no, I'm doing a tour and I'm showing all this content that has not been released online. And this is one of the things I was going to show on the tour. And I said, well, dude, it's got like 20,000 like likes on this thing already in a couple hours. Like, can we turn it into an advertisement or something? He's like, yes. He's like, put this, link the tickets to this for the tour. So I ended up like talking him off the ledge, but, it was very cool talking to him. Like, why'd you do this, man? Like he was, it was really fun. Like I've met a lot of cool people and like a lot of cool things like that have happened for me. That one was really cool. I love the ones, about intubating in the ICU. Cause I love to get people crazy in the comments. And, anesthesia people think like, hey, we're the only ones that can intubate. We're the airway people. Like no one else matters, that sort of attitude. So when I post something like, I don't know, like Rocky Balboa entering the ring or something, it's like anesthesia showing up to intubate in the ICU. The intensivists go crazy. The respiratory therapists go crazy. Like I love the fighting with the anesthesia people. Like you guys, we intubate our own people. We don't need you guys to come. And like, I love stuff like that, like that stuff's always fun.
The intubating in the ICU ones are hilarious. Absolutely. I love from that story about Jackass that, one of the things, and I try to tell my kids this and my residents and everybody is, in general, I think people give up too quickly, and so here's an example of a lot of people when they're told, listen, take that down. That's my it's my copyrighted, whatever, take it down. Would have just been like, sorry. Okay. It's down. And you said, look, here's call me. Let's talk about it, right? I mean, that's such a long shot, but it paid off and it worked. And that's a great example of just rather than give up, try it. Try to talk to people. And often things will come that you don't expect.
Yeah, well, I wanted him to know that there was there's a whole demographic of anesthesia people that find this fascinating that you're running with a spinal in your back. Like, we think it's crazy. Who knows what your blood pressure is? Who knows? Like, you had this huge sympathectomy while you're running around. I think he was running around like a bullpen with a loose bowl too. It was wild, man. But, it was, I was like, this is doing so well. Don't you want this up there? I've already tagged you. I've done everything I can do. Cause I definitely give credit where credit's due. I always tell people, DM me if you have anything or people send me something like, oh my God, that's got my hospital in the background. So I will always take it down immediately for people. But in that case, I was like, this is doing so well. Why do you want to take it down? Let's kind of use it as a promotional video thing. And he went for it, which was really cool. And it was cool to get to talk to him, actually.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So we've talked about some of the kind of themes in your memes. We've talked about the nails and the vet medicine, and chairs obviously is a big thing in anesthesia, watches. There's a couple others I want to ask you about. So there's this theme of kind of the blood pressures. And the one that people are always trying to show you a picture of is a blood pressure of 123 over 45 with a map of 67 so that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that well, I have a couple questions about that. Is A, where did it come from? And B, how is it possible? I feel like that are people messing around with the numbers, or how are they getting it to be exact?
No, so I had to look into that because so it's happened to me before. It's been like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I was like, okay, how'd that happen? Because if you calculate the map of 1, 2, 3 over 4 or 5, it's not going to be 6, 7. But I found out that map is an estimate, or there's more science to it, but it's an estimate pretty much. So it sometimes gets this estimate of 67, and I posted it. It happened to me a couple times. I posted it once, and it's been like everyone's mission in life to get this blood pressure. But I've also had like people sending me chat GPT screenshots saying a diastolic of 45 is not good under anesthesia. So for New Year's, I posted 120 over 80. Like, this is the new goal, guys. Let's shoot for 120 over 80 because I'm getting so much crap about the ones. I get crap about everything, man. So the nails, forget it. Every nail pick I get, every person that DMs me about nails, I get 3 infection control Karens telling me like this can't happen. But the blood pressure, they're coming for me now with that too.
That's funny. I would not have guessed that. Yeah, I'm not sure I've ever seen a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but it is pretty funny. How about the license plates? Was that again just people sending you some kind of anesthesia or medicine related license plates?
Yeah, I mean, especially in Texas, if you drive into the doctor's parking lot anywhere that has license plates, I mean, it's at the point, and some of them are really funny because they're so over the top. But it's at the point now where when I post, so I always take everything else out on the license plate. I don't show their registration, obviously, and stuff like that. I try to even hide the state, but they know the colors. But now when I when I post something like that, I get a message like, "Hey, that's my license plate. Take that down." Or, I mean, I literally posted some guy's boat the other day. I forgot the name of the boat. It was funny though. Something about sedation or something. It was a boat. And then he's like, that's my dad's boat. It's just crazy. Like,
yes, that's right. I remember that actually. Was it sedation or something? I can't remember what it was.
Something like that. And then I put up a thing like, give me your boat names. And people came up like really great boat names. So
that's right. Yeah, you posted a ton of those. That's right. I remember that.
Yeah, they went crazy over the boat names. So that was a lot of fun.
That's great. How about footwear in the OR? So you have pictures of surgeons in barefoot, in flip-flops, in Crocs with their feet hanging out, of all kinds of cowboy boots. Like, where did that come from?
I think it's just, I don't think anesthesia people realize how much we're looking at feet all day. Like, we're literally sitting in the operating room with this, drape up, and we're looking at people's legs, and people are kicking their shoes off, or people got weird socks on, and when you put this out there for like 270,000 people, like they find, a lot of people take their shoes off or they're wearing heels because they're going out after they're operating. Like, it just became a thing. Like, that's another thing. People just started sending me these things, and it's just one of those things that took off.
Yeah, that's fun. Are there others in your mind, other kind of themes that you've had over the 5 to 6 years you've been doing this that stand out as having been a lot of fun? Maybe something that isn't around anymore, but that once was, that you remember being fun? People used to send me their anesthesia setup, which that was kind of basic. That really didn't go anywhere. People were sending me their actual car for a little while, or showing me their car keys. There's been all kinds of stuff over the years, but a lot, some stuff just doesn't take, and then some stuff they go crazy over. I'll never know what it is that makes them go, but there is definitely some stuff that just doesn't do well. Interesting. So what are your plans moving forward? I mean, this is obviously incredibly successful. You don't have to make any changes. People will continue to appreciate you doing exactly what you do, but is that the plan, or do you have any future plans that you want to disclose to us?
I mean, I always fantasize like someday I'll retire and then take this name and like go do lectures, and they'll be, sold out Madison Square Garden, me lecturing about malignant hyperthermia, like whatever. Like, I don't know. I mean, I would love to do something with it, but it's like, again, it's just weird to have this like built-in audience. What do you do with them now? I mean, I kind of dabbled in podcasting a little bit. I made a couple episodes. I mean, they were horrible. It was just me cursing, and like I had no idea what I was doing. And I was talking about like, going to Target, and someone had their dog there. Like, I didn't know I just had no idea. And I posted 2 episodes, and it was like everyone went to listen to these episodes. And then it was in the top 10 new podcasts for Apple Music in like the first week. And I'm like, this is like crazy. Like, all right, this is like crap that I put out there, but they're waiting for something. And then I give them something, and then it like explodes, and it's huge. So I don't know where to go with it all. You know, I know it's going to go somewhere. I'm going to do something positive with it, whether it be like, you know, I don't know, review books or something. I'll do something cool eventually with it. Right now, it's just fun to keep. I'd love to keep growing. And that's really the challenge, is to keep growing beyond anesthesia. But I can't deviate from anesthesia. If I do, people flip out. Like the followers go crazy. So I can't post anything, but it's got to have some kind of anesthesia tied to it usually. But I would just love to keep growing and, you know, do my thing.
Well, fabulous. It is really, really fun and great work that you're doing. Let's turn to the part of the show where we make random recommendations. Do you have something you'd recommend the audience check out for fun?
So some of the pages I love, I mentioned Gassy CRNA. He's got a great meme page. I like Tiffany Moon. She's got good content. Anna the nurse, she's a OB nurse. She's got really good content. Olivia Reeves is probably my favorite. She has more followers than me, and she is a CRNA. But she does like a lot of makeup content. She does really cool stuff, but she's just a super funny human being, and probably one of the really good friends that I've made along the years doing this. She's the one I go to for advice when I need like content advice. She's very, very savvy with it all and doing very successful things with her pages, mostly TikTok, but she's great. Anne-Marie Wiley's good. There's a bunch of pages that I like, but
That's
it's
great.
the people it's the people I follow pretty much. So I mean, I only follow like 80 people. So that's the stuff I really like. If I follow them.
Yeah. Well, I will say, if you talk to Tiffany Moon, tell her I say hi. I think we were in the same residency program, and I think she was 2 years ahead of me. So I remember her a little bit from then, but she's obviously done a lot of cool stuff since then. So if you're listening, Tiffany, or AnesthesiaGawd, if you talk to her, tell her I say hi.
Yeah, I actually got to meet her in person. I went to her. She sent me her book. She sends me candles, and she's always supported the content. She's been from the beginning, she's been a huge supporter. And then I surprised her at her book signing in New York, and she was like, you know, I posted the video. It was really cute. Like, she's like, who should I make it out to? I'm like, AnesthesiaGawd. She's like, oh my God. And I'm like, wait, we're both starstruck over each other. This is crazy.
That's awesome.
But it was a lot of fun.
Well, I'm going to recommend a fabulous book that I love. It's called An Immense World by Ed Yong, and it is all about how animals sense the world and all their different senses and some of the amazing things that have evolved in nature, like the fact that dolphins and whales can actually use sonar to not only see fish, but if they've already been caught on a line, they can tell where the hook is inside that fish, and then they can bite the part of the fish that is not including the hook and pull it right off the hook. So pretty incredible stuff. Highly recommend. Check out the book, An Immense World by Ed Yong. Very cool. Well, AnesthesiaGawd, thank you for what you do, and I hope you keep doing it and find even more success. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
I was happy to be here. And dude, I have to tell you, people were like freaking out that I was coming on this show. I mean, I know I listened to the show, so I was always like, hey, this guy, the way you present things it's in such a way that it's very easy to wrap your brain around. And I was in the OR last week, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to the ACCRAC podcast. And the people were like, what? Like, the students were flipping out. Everyone's flipping out. They like, I didn't realize, I knew I listened to you. I didn't realize like the whole world's listening to you. So I think what you're doing is awesome. And I do love your content as well. And I really appreciate you having me on.
Well, thanks so much. It was a pleasure.
All right. Hopefully you got as much out of that as I did. That was really fantastic. Let us know what you thought. Go to the website, ACCRAC.com, where you can leave a comment. Others can learn from what you have to say. If you are a fan of the show, you can follow us. We're on Twitter. We are on Facebook. We are on Reddit. And we are on Instagram. I'm at Jay Wolpaw on Twitter, and we're at ACCRAC Podcast, and you can find us on all those other platforms as well. If you are a fan of the show, please consider going to Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts and leaving a comment and a rating. It really helps others find the show. If you'd like to support the making of the show, please consider going to patreon.com/ACCRAC. That's patreon.com/ACCRAC, where you can become a patron of the show. Even if it's just $1 or $2 that you pledge, it makes a big difference, and we really appreciate it. You can also make donations anytime by going to paypal.me/ACCRAC or looking up Jay Wolpaw on Venmo. Thank you so much to those who have already made donations and become patrons. We really appreciate it. Thanks, as always, to our fantastic ACCRAC crew.
Sonia Amanat is our tech lead. Taylor Duggan, William Mao, and Rachel Furman are our production assistants and social media managers. Thanks so much for all you do.
Our original ACCRAC music is by Dr. Dennis Quo. You can check out his website at studymusicproject.com. All right. That is it for today. For the ACCRAC podcast, I'm Jed Wolpaw. Thanks for listening. Remember, what you're doing out there every day is really important and valued.